Welcome back, and joining me with more insight on the day's trade is Phaswane Mphahlele from Makwe Fund Managers. Thank you so much for your time, Phaswane. It's quite interesting to see because markets had really pulled back because of the inflation figures that we got out of the US that they did not like. Of course, that also coming in line with what Fed Chair Jerome Powell has said, that they are not in a rush to cut interest rates. But to end of the week, the markets are actually in a pretty good place, especially our own market. Just talk to me about how you viewed activity in the markets this week.
Afternoon to you and to your viewers. Happy Valentine's. Well, looking into the market, I feel like there was a sense of volatility that filtered through the market as we saw that inflation is accelerating. We saw from the US and yields ticked up higher, and we saw markets getting spooked. However, following those inflation things, we had also to deal with geopolitical, the trade issues that Trump pushed out, whether I think of the steel, aluminium, or the current reciprocal tariffs that have just continued to just increase some uncertainty. But markets following the latest inflation data came later in the week from QPPI, reflecting that some of the components going to PCE are not as bad as it seems, and having to push away the idea of the delays around tariffs. Markets generally have then taken up an uptick and thinking that things are getting better and pricing out some of the worries. I think it's a bit of complacency. We also, locally, we did well along with the global markets because we also got supported by what China is doing in terms of their developments for monetary policy view and optimism around what their upcoming symposium.
It's quite interesting because markets had really been nervous about the tariff landscape, but it's quite interesting that they're willing to cling on to any good news. And of course, they're coming from the fact that Trump may not be imposing these tariffs anytime soon. Just, you mentioned China, and I would imagine that Prosus and Naspers have also been buoyed by Tencent there that is in China. Do you think there's also maybe more optimism on Chinese equities at this point and Chinese exposed equities?
Yeah. What we're seeing through Naspers process and just generally Chinese equities, they've been... Funny thing, they've been doing building up from last week coming into this week. The Shanghai became very bullish. I myself did not actually know why, but I kept looking an eye out on what's going on. And it seemed like the good news came through with the whole monetary policy saying they're looking to ease again and ensure businesses get stimulated. There's more engagement. We have this symposium that's coming up with the private sector. We see the likes of Alibaba, even coming through, Jack Ma. It's going to be interesting because this guy's been put away for some while. So China is going to be presenting something around the AI. We're going to hear more development, maybe less regulation, that is going to encourage investment into it. The guys have been doing it we're basically underground, you could call it, and being quiet about, but I think they're going to come to the market and expose it and show that they are competitive as much as US is.
Well, let's merge Trump and tech and go to Coinbase. Of course, we know the mania around also Trump's crypto coin. Coinbase actually came out with numbers there that exceeded analyst expectations. They posting their biggest quarterly top line in 3 years. That is absolutely amazing. But of course, we have seen all the movements in crypto prices there with the rise of crypto. Just talk to me about what's filtered through to that performance.
Well, the guys, they came out with their earnings. It's quite exceeding expectations, stellar results. And this is all at the back of the higher revenue they generated, over 138%, as the guys benefited from transactional revenue, as a lot of people traded in crypto with the administration coming in, and investors felt like Bitcoin and the other cryptos are going to do well, and they bought into that. And it was also good for the guys to see that during even looking at the earnings, some subscription revenue, we saw also some service revenue increasing, reflecting that diversification. in their income they'll be generating. This will help them navigate this volatile market they're also trading in sometimes when you look at regulation. But overall, it's great results. Their guys are well positioned to continue to do so because they have an administration that is pro cryptocurrency. However, just looking at the current levels of the likes of Bitcoin having eased and more I feel like they sit in a more bearish setup. The guys need to be very watchful of these Bitcoins and exposed Bitcoin-related stocks or
all right.
meme-coins.
All right. Well, on the other side of the coin, we do have what you are bullish on today. What is your stock pick?
My stock pick, I'm going to sit on DRT Gold. I think looking at the last update, I was very liking of it. They benefited heavily from their earnings from the higher gold price. They benefited from the production being intact and they're controlling. The guys are they are still set up to do some more in the short term, enjoying that the higher gold price in rand terms. And this is at the back of the fact that we still have a lot of uncertainty in the market. You think of geopolitics, you think of these trade issues that are continuing to be postponed, so therefore it will remain. Inflation is an issue that is rising up. Market has to also have to deal with the grabs at whether US economy, is it growing with the inflation, is it growing with growth or not? So it's a good time for gold price to continue to do well. It will benefit the guys there and benefit us as a rand in a whole sometimes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and for your insights there on what has moved our money this week, Phaswane. That was Phaswane Mphahlele from Makwe Fund Managers.